Hey everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy hump day, whoop whoop. Happy Wednesday to all of you. And yes, a video did drop. It was all about the Chevron Stitch. Hello Sherry, so nice to see you. I do have Mayhem where you can hear him. You can say hello, Mr. Michael Man.
Yellow, yellow.
Yes. So I don't know why the music wasn't playing at the beginning. That was really boring. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I had a little technical difficulty and I actually said that live. I don't know if y'all could hear it. But I got a new mic, so let me know if there's any issues with sound. I'd appreciate that. It's always hard to adjust to something new because, I don't have to scream at you, right? Okay, so yes, today was a brand new video, and it was another embroidery stitch, and I will talk about that a little bit more, but I do have a couple things to add. When I did the drop for the video today, I actually did a premiere, so I was watching it with y'all, and for those that came along and we were in the chat, we had a lot of fun, and I have some things that I want to kind of share because of the conversation, because there was some really great stuff in there. Okay, so today was the chevron stitch, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and by the way, when you're here, let me know that you're here, because I can see somebody in here, and if you just want to lurk, don't say anything at all. It's okay. But when you're here, let me know that you're here, and we should be live on both Facebook and on wherever we're going. YouTube, yes. Okay, and I'm going to bring up the chat box just in this screen, just in case. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we do have others. Hey there, Mom. Glad to see you. And hello, Sharina. Glad to see you. Okay, Michael, we've got a troll. So, Michael will take care of that. Mr. Mayhem, we got some mayhem going on. Oh, y'all can't see that. Oh my gosh. One of these days I'm going to get used to this button. Okay, so, you taking care of it, right, Michael Man?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so, one of the things about, now the chevron stitch, I'm going to do a little drawing. In the next screen, I will leave off, oh, he's still there, Michael. I'm going to leave off the chat box while I switch cameras. Is it a zip zag stitch? Okay, so I'll show you here. It's easier if I pull in. It is kind of zigzaggy, but it's not a zigzag stitch, but it is zigzaggy. That's a great question. Okay, so let me pull you over. Let me go ahead and change screens. And I'll remember to click the button. I promise, guys. I promise. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. All right, so this is there. Y'all are getting to see a shadow. So this white box is my light. I actually tried to turn the light off, but then you couldn't hardly see nothing. And then you see my little camera and my little microphone. I can't fix it right now. Don't know how to do that. Okay, so bear with it. I think it'll be fine. The first thing I'll show you, this is my practice stitching, not what I did on camera. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, or not zoom in, but clear it up. There it is. This is just a single chevron stitch. So I'll bring it up a little closer for you. That's what that looks like. And this is my practice swatch. And as you see, I did it in green over here. I just kept practicing, and then this is what I did on video. Okay, so I am using two different sides of this, but this is what a chevron stitch looks like. And then I worked with beads. I mean, I was doing all kinds of stuff. Okay, so excuse me. At any rate, that is what this week's stitch is. Okay, and I do have this whiteboard because I'm going to be doing, I want to show you a couple of other ideas that you can do besides what I gave in the video. And this was allowing me to do that. And I'm going to start with black, but I do have green and red because my crazy quilt's Christmas, right? Okay. Thank you, Miss Sherry. It is a pretty stitch. I'm telling you, it's one of my favorites. And in the video, just to go back here for just a second. In the video, if you look, I did 2 chevron stitches here, and one is a dark green and one is a light green, but it just gave a different effect. But those are both just regular chevron stitches. I just did the dark green first and I overlapped with the light green. There's a lot of things you can do with this. I have even added, you could do ribbon inside there. I did a crochet lace that I found. There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, it's a great stitch. You can use it as a foundation stitch, meaning you're going to embroider around it, or do buttons or beads or other kinds of things around the stitch. Or it can be a straight stitch that you just put on there. It doesn't have to be a foundation. It can stand on its own. So it is a really great stitch, and it was a lot of fun, guys. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about, let me see if I can move over a little bit. So I brought this whiteboard over, and whew, I'm caught. Hold on just a second. Let's see here. Let's move this around. I got one ear in and one ear out so that I can hear what you hear as far as Michael goes, because without it I can't hear him. Okay, so they do something called a dot diagram. Okay, so basically when you're learning some stitches, you might see, now normally it's on a grid and it's not on a whiteboard, okay? But you'll see dots, and basically the dots are where your needle goes in and comes out. So this particular stitch, there we go. We'll do 3 more over here. Okay, normally you go from the middle, down to a middle, up, down, and up. Okay, and it keeps on going. And these end up looking like straight stitches. Okay. So what I'm going to do here in the future is I'm going to put together some dot diagrams along with some line diagrams on a sheet that y'all can, collect to have the dot diagram, and it'll have a graph with it. It will have a graph so you can see how, this is all about the middles, like I talk about in the stitch. Hello, Dawn. Glad to see you. Dawn's over there in Facebook world along with Sharina and Sharon. Sherry, you're out there on YouTube. Whoop, whoop. And I'll bring the chat box back when I come back at you. Okay, so this is the chevron stitch. But what I wanted to talk about with it, another idea that you could do is you could actually do one right underneath. I got to think about this. Okay. To the middle, to the middle, to the middle, and to the middle. Okay. Now, when I do my sheet for you, I will not hand draw this because this is terrible. But where they aren't necessarily touching, but they have it'll have like a stripe, right, of these stitches, you can actually put beads in here too. Okay. And so you could have 2 chevrons going, top to top, and in between them you can add some beads. I thought that was that might look really cool. The other thing, or French knots, you can put French knots in there. We're going to talk about French knots soon. The other thing that I was thinking about, and I didn't do it yet, I probably will. Looking for, here we go. Let's see how well this erases. Oh, that's not too bad, but I don't like it. So I got some wet cloth here. I'm ready for you guys. Okay. The other thing I was thinking, I talked about, I only put 1 bead in the video. I only put 1 bead inside my stitches because they were really short. But I did talk about how you can make them deeper and wider. But the other thing I wanted to show y'all. Okay, so let's say think about this. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 of these. Well, let me make them long here. Okay. Now that wouldn't necessarily look like this, but we're going there. Okay. Oh yeah, because that one's not right. Hold on. Man, this takes a minute for me to think. All right, let's do that again. That ain't right. Good thing it's a white erase board or we would really have a good time. Okay, make sure this is dry. All right. So we have a line here, comes to the middle, goes to a middle. So then we have this middle and this middle. This goes up to a middle, right? Goes down to a middle. So these are much bigger than what I stitched with you on camera. Okay, so let's say you did a really tall stitch. I'm hoping I don't know how to refresh my chat page, so I'm hoping that y'all are good. Okay, so the other thing that you can do, let me just pull up my note really quick. Okay, yeah. You can actually do another chevron. Oh, this isn't working. Oh, see, my husband gave me these. Okay, the green does work. Okay, red does not, so we're stuck with green. So what you can do is you can actually put a stitch that is working inside the other stitches. And these ones are much wider. Whoops, over here. Okay. But you can actually do another chevron that overlaps. Okay. Inside, in between the larger stitches. So they can actually overlap. You can use the same color, you can use a different color, you can do whatever floats your boat. And remember, with a crazy quilt, there ain't no rules. Okay, so I wanted to give you a couple of those ideas. And there's so many things, even within, you can put beads in here, right? You can do flowers. You can embroider flowers in there. There's so much that you can do with a chevron stitch around the stitching. It really does make a fantabulous foundation stitch. So that was the second stitch. And I wanted to show you this because I am going to create like I said, I'm going to create a document and it'll have dot diagrams along with straight lines, and I'll do it by graphic computer done, so you won't get this hot mess. Okay.
Graphic computer.
I do have a computer.
No, you said, but you're gonna do it with graphic computer.
Oh, yeah, I have graphic design software, so it'll be done that way.
Graphic computer thing. Got it.
Yeah, it's a computer thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you with that. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back for just a second. I'll end up coming back at you, but I want to arrange the camera for other stuff. All right. So y'all still with me? Anybody have any questions? Any comments?
You could do Christmas gifts.
Huh?
For the in-between.
Yeah. And a button that's actually done already, a Christmas gift, that would be really fun. But that's for my Christmas theme quilt, right? Because, yeah, it wouldn't look good necessarily on another type of quilt. But, okay, I do have notes to keep on track. Just want to make sure that we are all still here and alive and well. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Awesome idea. Okay, thank you, Don. Okay, so, one of the things that came up in the chat is somebody said, and I believe it was Sharina, our awesome cherub. She said when she learned embroidery stitching when she was like 10-ish. And when she was learning, she had this piece of fabric that already had the designs pre-printed on the fabric, so you just had to follow the lines. That is another way to learn a lot of different stitches, and it's a really great way, to be honest with you guys. The only reason I'm using my counted 25 count, wish it was larger, but I'm working with what I have. I actually drew on the fabric. It was a hot mess. It was so bad. So it wasn't going to be something that would make a whole lot of sense to you guys, because it was so terrible, because I couldn't get it to line up correctly, and it was a hot mess. So this is going, instead of being on a fabric that I'm drawn on, which, you know, I guess I could find a white fabric and just draw on it. That might work. But the counting that I do is just to make it easier, because we do have the holes, and they do afford you the idea of how to get the stitch equal and consistent and get the practice.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, that was my Alexa. She don't have an answer for that. Okay. So, you know, it's a great way to get equality and get consistency, because we're counting holes. And then once you transfer over to the crazy quilt, you kind of have that muscle memory and that understanding of how the stitch actually is working. Okay. So, I wanted to bring that up because it's kind of like pre-printed cross stitch. They have pre-printed cross stitch out there that's already printed on the fabric. It's kind of the same idea, but it's all about embroidery. And so you can learn amazing, absolutely amazing. But I don't have one of those. And I was thinking, what can I do that you might have in your house? And we can do this together. I am going to try drawing on a white piece of fabric, though. I like the idea. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to bring in, I have one more thing. Now I have to adjust my camera to get down a little closer. In the videos so far, I've only done the 2, right? Okay. And I always tell you, pull your thread up, keep your thread down. And then the chevron stitch, sometimes I get them reversed, and I told y'all at the beginning, I might make a mistake, because sometimes I get confused on whether it should be up or down. And it happened finally near the end. On the last thing I'm showing you guys, near the end of it, I finally messed it up, and I showed you how I fix it, but I don't know if you really understood why it was a problem. So what I want to do here is actually bring you closer. I'm setting up the camera. I already have a thread. Where's my thread? Hold on. Nope. Where'd it go? See, I've been talking. Oh, here it is. Found it, guys. Okay. I already have a piece of thread ready to go, and it just will give me an opportunity to demonstrate for you guys what exactly I'm talking about. I just want to make sure we are good before I switch cameras, so you don't have to see all the wiggling. Okay, here we go. I can still see your comments, but you won't see both of yours because I have the chat box turned off here. There's so much space, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to do a chevron stitch. I'm going to bring up, let me put my glasses on, guys, so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to bring up my thread, okay, in any old hole, because we're just practicing, okay? All right, so what you're supposed to do is I was doing even numbers, but whatever your stitch length is, you go to the full stitch length on the first stitch. Okay? And then you come up in the middle. Okay? That's not right. Wait a minute. It was right. Yep. Okay. So we come up in the middle. Now the first one, you bring the thread up. And I don't like that lighting. Unfortunately, I couldn't pre-test that. I think it's this button. And it won't go down. Oh, that's better. Okay. So this is up, okay? And you pull through. Okay? And then what it does is now this is the first stitch. They go a little bit different when you go on, but it gives you a full stitch with it looking like your thread's coming out in the middle. Okay? Hope you can see that. All right. Do I have my notes somewhere? I do. Okay, so the second stitch, okay, I got to make sure I stay in the camera. So we come down, equal, okay, that's where we'd want to come out. You go over to the middle. You put your needle where it's supposed to come out, and this would need to go up, okay? Now, I'm showing you what's right because I want to show you when you mess up what it looks like. And then it won't take us but a second. Okay, so this one, we finish the stitch. We come up in the middle. Okay, and this time the thread stays down. We pull through. And again, we have where the stitch is coming into the middle and out in the middle, okay? Cool? All right, now let's see if I can mess this one up. Well, yeah, we'll mess this one up. So that's where I'd want to come out at. So I go to what would be about the middle of the full stitch. And I put my needle through to get ready. Now what you're supposed to do is keep this thread down. But I'm going to put it up, okay? So what happens is, when you pull it, it's got like, I'm hoping you can see this. It's got like a loop. Okay, so it's going over this stitch. Okay, the new stitch is the crosshair stitch, the one that goes in a diagonal, is coming over the new stitch. And you don't want that because it will create like a little bit of a loop or a knot up at the top. So you should have kept it up instead of down. And as you see, it's clean. There's no loop. It's even Steven. Everything's good. I'll go ahead and pull it tight on the next goof up. I'm going to make this one right. Okay, and this one we want to keep up. Okay. All right, so we were coming down, going over, come out where the end stitch was, going in at the middle, coming out where the end stitch is. This time we'd want to keep it up, but instead I'm going to bring it down. Okay, we're going to pull through, and I'm going to get this loop. See, I can already see that this is overlapping on this thread. So I'll pull it tight, and it doesn't look anything like what I showed you all before. Hey there, Steph, glad to see you. Okay, it's got like a little bit of a bulk going on. So if I caught that, which I did in the video, if you just pull it through, see how much cleaner that is? There's no bulk. So I wanted to explain what that meant, because I do talk about keeping this thread on every stitch, whether or not you keep it up or you keep it down. And that is the reason why, okay? That is absolutely the reason. So everything stays more without the little loopy knots, unless they're supposed to be there. That would be the only reason that you would want that, is if it's supposed to overcross. But usually if I'm giving you, if I'm telling you, make sure you do this, or keep it up, keep it down, it's so that it doesn't overlap the stitch. Okay, so that is what I was talking about. Let me go back to the other camera. Okay, because I do have another thing to share with y'all. As far as new products, I do have a new thing. I'll fix that camera in a minute. I hope that's clear, and I do hope that some of my videos in the teaching method that I'm doing are clear. I'm trying. Oh, I should keep that down. Let me pull that down again because I have an idea. Um, but I wanted to, and Stephanie, guys, is over on, and I don't know why her thing didn't flood over to the chat box, but Stephanie's over at YouTube. So thank you, Steph. So anyway, that, I hope I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense, y'all just let me know, and I will try to figure out. Teaching is one of my passions. I've done it in every industry I've ever worked in. And so yeah, I know that it's so important to have clarity. Well, when I'm doing pre-recorded videos, I don't have people sitting out there with deer, like I can't look at them in their eyes and see deer in headlights because there are no people out there. So I do my best to think about how it's coming across, but I can make mistakes. Are you still there, Michael?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I thought maybe I lost you. Okay,
No,
you're so quiet.
I'm muted because my bird keeps deciding to randomly talk a bunch. So
Okay, cool. All right, so in the video, okay, like I said, I did it as a premiere, so there was a bunch of people in there. So I want to talk about one more thing that Kelly, one of the cherubs, Kelly was talking about in the chat, and then I want to talk about specifically a couple of things I thought about on my own block, and I want to share those with you. So the first thing, I was doing the stitching, and when she came aboard, I was actually showing how to add beads to the chevron stitch, and of course I'm working on 25 count, so it looks like I'm cross stitching, right? I'm not. I'm practicing, embroidery. But she actually talked about using beads in cross stitch. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, that to me was like an inspirational moment. I actually, if y'all know, and if you've been following or if you're in Creative Kingdom, you know that on my own personal project, I'm doing the sew by row. And I actually think there's a couple places that I could put beads in. And I thought, oh, she just inspired so much. And she said that she did 2 angels on a cross stitch and a queen. And they had all this beadwork in her cross stitch. I think that's brilliant. And understanding it's kind of crossing over into it because I understand how beads are working better because of the embroidery stitches. And I'm doing it on, as a practice run on the 25 count. So I can add my own beads where I want to, even though the pattern doesn't call for it, because I get how. So I wanted to share that with you guys because some of you are cross stitchers yourself, and we've got all the people doing the you're the boss of your own quilt stitch along. There are the stitch cards. There are different floss tubers that you're following and getting patterns from. And there is, if you see a potential for a bead, I wanted to share that inspiration because I thought it was brilliant. Hey there, Mary. You got back from the audiologist? Well, I hope he can hear now. I can hear you. Can you hear me? You got to have Verizon because then we know you can hear me now, right? I'm only kidding. Glad to see you, Mary. All right, so I wanted to share that with you. Now, there's 2 things I wanted to share with my own block that kind of, one of them was inspired when I was watching and I just had a moment of, creativity in my head. And the other one, it's just something I noticed and it finally dawned on me what was going on during the live or during the premiere. Okay, so I'm going to switch this camera back, and I'm going to set it up here for you, and it is a little closer still, but I want you to see a couple of things. Ooh, very nice, very nice. Okay, I've got the light turned down just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so first one is, make sure I'm ready. Okay. So I shared with you, I did a single chevron here. Okay, it's just a regular chevron. And I put these, they're actually metal and they're silver beads. And they have kind of a design on them. I don't know how well you're picking that up. But And I said in the video, it reminded me of being Jingle Belly. And I said, I don't know if that's a word, but you know, like Jingle Bells. It just doesn't make any noise. However, that made me think today. I've got jingle bells, like for real jingle bells. Okay? I don't know if you can hear that. Okay? But they've got a little loop just like a bead. Okay? So I'm going to do this stitch again on another block. I'm just going to do a single chevron, I think. And I'm going to attach real jingle bells. How fun is that? Because this is Christmas themed on mine. Okay? I think this would be so fun. And I wanted to share that with you in case you do a Christmas themed and you have some jingle bells. Because you can put them in stitches instead of beads. Yeah. How cool would that be, right? Yeah, thank you, Mary. I see you're smiling. I think it's fun, right? All right. So that was the first thing. The other thing I've been noticing, and it didn't click until this morning. So if you look at here, okay, this is a great example. I don't know if you can tell. Well, let me move it over. There's some fullness, okay, inside this block right here. Now, I'm not going to worry about it because it's a crazy quilt. There are no rules. You can't mess this up. But then there's some other places. Okay. So like up here, I don't know how well you can, yeah, you can kind of see there's some, basically I've got some fullness and some, it's kind of like puckering, right? Brilliant idea. You love the jingle bells. Thank you, Sharina. Thank you, Dawn. She says it's cute. I will definitely share that with you when I get one done. But what's going on here, okay, with my fabric? What is this? What's happening, Angel? Why is this going on? Okay. The reason is because I'm pulling my threads when I'm stitching too tight. And I'm causing a little bit of a tension issue. Now they look good. They look even. But I'm scrunching in. I'm pulling a little too tight on the fabric. Okay? So I'm scrunching and making fullness because it should be more spread out. Now, just like some people, well, good, Mary. Yours looks silly. I love it. I can't wait to see silly. I love it. I love it. The sillier, the better. Okay, so that's crazy quilts for you. Okay. So what, just like people who cross stitch, a lot of people say when they learn to, and I'm not using a hoop. Okay, that would help probably, but I ain't going to use a hoop. I know you're supposed to. I know you are, but there are no rules to what I'm doing. And I'm breaking that one. Okay. I'm not going to use a hoop. That may help with tension. Although if you're using a hoop and you still pull too tight, when you let the hoop go, it still may have issues with your fabric. Okay. So, just like people who cross stitch, when they learn to do stitch in hand instead of using a hoop, there's a level of learning how much to pull. If you pull too tight, it causes it to the fabric to move in on where the stitch is, and of course then you have extras around it. If you don't pull with enough tension, then your stitches will be loosey-goosey. It's actually the same thing in here. And I actually do well with cross stitch. I don't know what the difference is. I guess because the fabric feels stiffer to me. But I have to learn how much and how little to pull. So if you are, and it's going to be fine. This is all going to work out. There ain't nothing wrong with it. But if you start to notice that, it's probably a tension issue. Okay. Could that be happening because you're holding fabric to stitch? Right. Instead of putting it in a hoop. I think that's what you mean. But it's still, when I pull the thread through, I need to not pull as hard. And there's a happy medium in how much and how little that you pull. But this is okay, guys. Look, It ain't nothing big. It's not the end of the world, okay? It's not. It really isn't. Listen, it's a crazy quilt, and it's going to get crazy. And you can't mess this up, okay? You can't. So I just noticed it, and I want when I figure out exactly, and Dawn, let me know if that's what you were thinking. It's because I'm holding the fabric to stitch it instead of being on a hoop. I ain't gonna use a hoop, guys. I ain't gonna do it. I know you're supposed to, but it ain't happening. So I have to learn to adjust. So maybe you can make the ornament trapunto. I could do something like it as long as I can get in there. I don't know if I can. I can't get in there anymore, Mary. I am not quilting. This is my quilting. And I am going to just do a envelope method for the backing. Okay. I'm not going to add batting, and I'm not going to tie quilt it or quilt it in any fashion so that the 3 layers stay together. I'm going to envelope this. I'm 90% sure I'm going to do that. Watch me change my mind. If I was going to use batting with it, because you can. I mean, there are no rules. You can do whatever you want. If I was going to use batting and also a backing, that would be so cool to trapunto the Christmas bulb. That is a brilliant idea. But that's not where I'm going. Now, what I could have done is I could have put some batting before all these stitches in, just around there. I could have done like some stitching around the bulb, left an opening, put in some extra batting in there, and then sealed it off, and it would have popped. I could have done that. And then we could have done like different stitches through it to bring out the stars a little bit. Yeah, that'd have been fun. Maybe I'll do that on another block. Maybe I'll play with that idea, because Mary, it's a really, really good idea. Stephanie says, hey, Michael, so for not speaking earlier. Okay. Then Dawn, that's what you were saying. Okay, good. Yeah, because you're absolutely right. That is the issue. I just have to learn exactly how much tension to pull, because I'm not putting it in a hoop. I'm holding it myself. You're absolutely right. So Mary, you keep trying to use the hoop, then you take it off. Yeah, I'm not feeling the hoop, because there's too much going on, and this is gonna get worse. There's gonna be more beads, then there's gonna be jingle bells, there's gonna be buttons, there's gonna be lace, there's gonna be ribbon, this thing is gonna get really full. Now I know you can still use a hoop, but I am just like, I ain't into it. I'm not doing it. I don't do it with cross stitch. It's just my preference. That is what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Let me put that in quotes. That's what you're supposed to do when you embroider. You're supposed to use a hoop. It is recommended. You get better outcome. I don't like rules, so I'm breaking the rules. You would put a piece of interfacing on the back with a small amount of batting. You know, Mary, I like where you're going. I'm going to have to play with that idea. Let me write that down. I'll come back and watch the replay, but I really need to make a note of that, because I kind of like the idea. With different parts, with different things. That is a really good idea. Okay. Oh, it's supposed to say sorry. So Stephanie says, Michael, sorry she didn't say hello earlier.
Oh, it's all good.
You're not a hooper either, Dawn. See, I'm not either. I just don't like it. I find it an inconvenience. I will tell you, I've tried it when I did hand quilting. I've only hand quilted one quilt. Well, you never say never. It'll be a long time if I ever hand quilt another quilt. It just takes forever. I started with a hoop and I hated it. And I kept doing it, and because I was learning, but I kept doing it. And then I found out that there are some people that hand quilt their quilts without hoops, and I said, throw that thing out the window. Some people love them. If it works for you, that's what you do. But hoops are not my friend. I don't do it in cross stitch. I won't do it in quilting, and I'm certainly, at this time, I'll never say never, because stuff happens. But at this time, I'm with everybody else. I do not use a hoop. Part of the problem is the stuff that you're adding to the block gets way of the hoop. Exactly. And as this keeps getting more and more, you're going to run into more and more problems, right? Because different size buttons, different size beads, different everything. So you're still supposed to use a hoop, but not everybody does. So Mary, if you don't use a hoop, just know that you might, if you haven't figured out your tension, you might get some of this. Okay. Which, listen guys, does that look bad? No. Now, when I point this out to you guys, you can see it. When I point it out, okay, this inconsistency with how you can see the rippling, yeah, then you're going to see it. But for the most part, do you? No, you don't. It's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world, right? All right. You love the ornament? Huh?
It adds character.
It adds character. Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, I will tell you in the video, okay, I will share. I actually share with you what I used inside this chevron. It's actually Mom would know the name of it. For me, it's like, when you crochet and you have like the really tiny, skinny crochet hooks. I mean, they're really skinny, right? And you can do like, I have done these. I have lace ornaments. That's what they look like. And you use a thinner thread or a thinner yarn. And it looks like lace, but it's crocheted. Well, that's what I use. I have spools of it. I have spools of this stuff. So I put it in there. Now I folded the ends over. Oh, you can't see that. I folded the ends over, okay? And I tacked down so that it would stay while I was doing the chevron stitch. I basted it. So like you can actually see that's part of my basting thread. Okay. So I basted it down but I fold the end. Well, these ends, they look atrocious. Okay. Because I'm new. Okay. I'm a beginner. That looks atrocious. So my plan is, which I probably would do anyway, I'm going to put something on the ends. I don't know if they'll be buttons. I don't know what they're going to be. But I'm going to hide my atrociousness. So it's going to, like you said, Mary, you just keep adding. You just keep adding and adding and adding. And it's really hard to get a hoop, right? Hey there, Courtney. Glad to see you. Glad to see you this morning, too. I appreciate you tuning in. Pat Sloan doesn't use a hoop either. Yeah, I'm a hand and stitcher with cross stitch. Now, I don't know if she does embroidery. I'm sure she does, but she doesn't do it often. And I don't think we've seen a video with her doing any kind of embroidery in a very, very long time, if at all, in the last 2.5 years. But, yeah, stitch in hand is, to me, so much easier. And I just love it. Then the hoop pops off. Yeah, Mary, listen. You and me are in the same boat. Just saying. Okay, so that's what I had to... Let me come back at you again. That's what I had for all of the stuff. Is my chat box going to fill up? It sure is taking a while. There it goes. Okay, so... That's actually all of the things that I wanted to talk about related to the chevron stitch, related to embroidering your crazy quilt. I am going to, like I said, I will put together a diagram, a chart, dot diagrams for different stitches that we do throughout the series, because this is going to be a while. There's a lot of stuff. Even after I finish up some stitches, then I'll show about buttons and, different things you can do inside different foundation stitches. Of course, your own creativity is going to have to flourish, but I'm gonna just try to give some inspiration behind it beyond just the foundation stitches. And there are some other stitches that we can do to help embellish it that aren't foundation stitches. So there's more to come. I've got one more foundation stitch next week, and then we'll take a break for a little bit. Make sure I'm on gear. Okay. I do have one more thing to share, but it's just new products that came in. So in the meantime, does anybody have any questions or thoughts or concerns or whatever? Anybody have anything to say? Because we want to hear it. Absolutely want to hear it. Oh, you printed off. Well, it's not a pattern. You printed off the supply sheet, I'm guessing, is what you mean. Yeah, that's a really, the jewel box pattern. Now, I've done that. So for those of you who are new or weren't around when I did the jewel box, it's a very popular, common quilt. Like, you may have seen a jewel box and not known that that's what you were looking at, but if you're fairly new to quilting, but I did one, and I love it, and I sent it to Vicky of My Creative Corner 3, and she's quilting it. I think she's done. I think it's coming off the hoop. I do a whole video on it, so not only do you get the supply sheet, but you also get a video on how to make it. And I'm going to share with you when I get it bound, because I haven't gotten it yet. I'm guessing it's off the frame. When it comes back and I get it bound, I will definitely share. I'm really excited because if you follow Vicky, she has shown a little bit of snippets here and there on some of the quilting on this quilt. Yeah. And if you're looking for that fabric, it was Poppy Cotton, who is the designer. Chick-a-doodle-doo. That's the name of the fabric. And you can't find it everywhere, but I still have 10-inch square packs. So if you're, I think I might even have, I may or may not have fat quarters. I don't know that for a fact. But I do know I do have, there's a lot of do's in that statement, 10-inch squares. And that's what I made that quilt with, along with the background fabric. So, yeah, Sharina, that is really up your lane. I think that pattern, the jewel box pattern, is really something that is, I see you doing. That falls under your niche, I think. And I can't wait to see what fabric you choose, because you play in so many different genres and you make it work. You can go pop or modern. You can go pop. Yeah, we're not talking about music, Angel. You can go modern. You can go subtle. You can go traditional. You can go using solids. And everything you do, Sharina, works. No matter which genre of fabric you choose. So if you make that quilt, I'll be really excited to see what you do with it. Yeah. Oh, 30s fabric? Wow. Oh, you might, I think that would be amazing in 30s fabric. And you just gave me another idea for another Halo Cherub. She's been asking about what to do with a certain fabric line. I think you just gave it to me. But you said Vicky just has to bury threads. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, I will share it with you guys once I get it bound. And I will machine bind. I no longer do hand binding. I don't have time for that.
Yep.
It takes forever, Michael. And it actually will last a little longer if you machine bind it. it does tend to have some longevity. Now, there is longevity with some quilts that are hand bound, but usually what we're finding today is that more quilts the bindings are lasting a little longer if they're machine bound. But either way, it don't matter. It's just a preference. It really is just a preference. Yeah. I just don't have time to sit and sew. I just don't.
I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time. No. So I look forward to that, Sharina. I think 30s fabric would be beautiful in that pattern. Beautiful. Absolutely. See, I told you. You got this, girl. Okay, last thing on the list that I want to share before I let you go. And then I got to let you go because we have talked a long time. And I know you guys are probably like, oh, this is forever. Because, yeah, it's almost been an hour. So let me set the camera up again. I really like being able to set this up before I move over so you guys aren't feeling like you're getting dizzy and...
like I'm gonna puke.
Huh?
Like I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Michael. We just don't feel like you want to puke. That's always nice. But yeah. Okay.
I'd like to avoid that.
So, two things that I want to share with you real quick that did come into the shop. And Michael Mayhem has actually already loaded them on the website. So they are ready to go. And they are competitive prices, guys. I could charge more and we could make a little more money. But yes, we have to make money at Halo so that we can continue this. But I also understand that we're not here to just make money. We're here to inspire, whether it's fabrics, whether it's patterns, whatever it is. Crazy quilting, right? Bookshelf quilting. A lot of people love that bookshelf quilt. Crumb piecing, whatever it is, the methods, the inspirations can come from. The notions, we can even have notions that may inspire you. So we're not going to go crazy with prices. We're just not going to do that. Okay. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're here for. So they're very competitive. I think you will find that if you start to search and do a compare pricing. I think you're going to find that we're very, very competitive. Okay. And better than some local quilt shops. So, I just got to put it out there because I'm proud of it, Michael. Okay. So we have 2 kits from Lori Holt of Be In My Bonnet for Riley Blake Designs. They did come in. This is with her Prairie line. So this is a table runner. This, in fact, is what the design of the table runner looks like. Super cute. But all the fabric inside is from her Prairie line fabric. Okay. Now, I just wanted to show you this inside the box. I will tell you that the box does have a magnet. I love boxes, guys. I want just the box because I don't know. I got to pick one of these projects to do with you. But I'm struggling because I have so many projects. I don't know which one to add, but I want a box. I want a box so bad. Okay, so that you will get the pattern, okay, inside both of the kits. It comes with the pattern. It comes with all of the fabric that you need. Okay, so all of this is from Prairie. These are her, what are they called? White shirts. Fabrics. I don't have any of those in the shop, but they're super adorable. I might get them in the future because I think they're going to be basic. And then all the printed fabrics that you need, because one of them is a 5-inch square pack. So you do get a 5-inch square pack included. Some, I think this is for binding, if I remember correctly, this blue stripe, because you do get enough for the topper and the binding. Okay. You just have to supply the batting and the backing. And I think her cheater cloth that she came out, her cheater fabric that she came out with for this line would be absolutely wonderful as a backing. Okay. So, and I'm going to talk about the cheater prints in the near future. You're going to hear about it. So this is the table runner. Okay. That's the design. Oh, there we go on the back. Okay. And it's called Wildflower. That's your actual design of the table runner. And this box is either 6.5 by 6.5 or 6 by 6. I can't remember which. So that's the first one. Okay. The second one, and I know if you were in Creative Kingdom over Saturday, you've already seen this. I give them a preview of stuff that comes in all the time. Oh, and Sherry, if you're still here, I got something to add. Okay, so this is the actual quilt. Now, Michael, can you pull up the website and give me, I forget what the name of the quilt is. Can you tell me the name of the quilt and how big the finished product is, please? So, inside here, there is 2 10-inch square packs, and then all the fabric that you need, again, for the topper and for the binding. You do have to supply your own batting and backing. Oh, it's called Shoe Fly Stars. So, let's see. Does the pattern? Nope. They look like those, but you have an entire quilt with different fabrics, different colors. Shoe Fly Stars. I don't know. What's it end at, Michael?
Finished size is 67 by 80.
What is it?
67 by 80.
67 by 80? Really?
Yep. That's what it says.
Okay.
It's the Shoe Fly Stars quilt box kit.
Okay.
Right?
The Shoe Fly Stars quilt box kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, and this is the box, guys. I just love these boxes. Don't you just love it? I just love it. And this one also has a magnet. Let's see on the back. Does it give me a... Oh, it does. It gives us a picture. Oh, and look, Michael, I didn't have to have you look it up. It is 67 by 80.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what the pattern of. This is so pretty, guys. I want to make both, but I just don't have time for both, so I have to pick one. If you have a suggestion what I should do, or what you want to see me do, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you to help me pick, because I can only afford to do one of these. I mean, not money wise. I do have to buy my own kit because I'm doing it for personal reasons, but I mean, as far as time, because I have too many projects. So if you have which one you would like to see me do, let me know. But y'all, this is so cute. So absolutely cute. It includes the pattern and the fabric for the quilt top and the binding. And yeah, if you're looking for an idea with a cute box, there you have it. This might just be up your alley. You can get it all done. Love this. Okay, let me come back at you. Shoe fly. There you go. Yeah, you love you some shoe flies because they are kind of like churn dashes, sorta. So anyway, there it goes. Gotta love it. You have an order ready, just trying to decide when to pay for it. I hear you. I hear you. That's how I am too. That's exactly how I am. I don't know how y'all are, but like if you leave, like do you go to websites and then you put what you want in there and you put it in your cart and then you come back to it? And like Amazon, you can put save for later. Not all websites you can do that with. And sometimes I do that too. But even if I can't, I load up my cart and these are the things I'd like to have. And then I sit and wait on it. Okay, what can I buy now? What can I wait for later? Yeah. And I will tell you, they're cute. These patterns are cute, and I think they'll be a lot of fun. But let me know if you have... Oh, I know what, Stephanie. Stephanie, you're telling me to do the shoe fly. Oh, that's a whole quilt. I'll probably change the binding on it too, to be real with you guys. I don't know what the binding... Yeah, I might change the binding on it. I don't know. We'll see. Because I really have something fun to share with you with binding. It might come to another quilt and then I can share with it anyway. But thank you for your input, Steph. I might just do the shoe fly.
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Huh?
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Oh yeah, here we go. Michael's trying to sing. You don't want him to sing. He can play the violin,
whoa.
but he cannot sing.
I can sing 2 songs.
Shoe fly is not one of them.
Shoe flies are not one of them.
You do that all the time with yarns. Yeah, absolutely, Mary. So yeah, it's normal. But at any rate, that's what I have for today. If you're watching the hashtag replay, let us know that you came along. And if you have any questions, if you think of a question, don't hesitate to ask, guys. It doesn't matter. I've had a lot of emails recently with lots of questions. I haven't seen a lot of them inside the live chats, and that might be why they've done the other, the email, and that's fine. You can totally email us. And right now, I'm the only quilter in Halo, so I have to answer a lot of the questions. Right now, I'm telling you, that's going to change. Tam does quilt a little bit, but I know she wouldn't feel comfortable answering some questions. So you can definitely do it there. You can definitely come back to this video, any video. You can do it inside. If you're Creative Kingdom, you can ask there. You can send a Facebook message. Whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, we don't have any we don't have any rules on how to get a hold of us. And we will do our absolute...
Open door policy.
Do what?
Open door policy.
What does that mean?
They can ask at any point.
Yes, they can ask at any point.
Sure.
Yes. I didn't hear what you said. You were muffled. So, at any rate, don't hesitate to ask. If you have suggestions, comments, anything, never hesitate. Okay? There are no quilt police here. There are no streaming police here. We don't play that game. All we are here together as quilters, as sewists, to cheer each other on, to support each other, to educate each other, and make us all not only better quilters, but better people. So thank you guys for tuning in. For those of you who are here, this was fun. Y'all are amazing. Your ideas, your thoughts, the projects you're working on, the things that you're doing, the suggestions you have. I'm telling you guys, we have I know people say this, and I don't know how to say it where you can really understand that I really mean this. We have the best group ever. Y'all are amazing, plain and simple. And I love each and every one of you. And for those of you who are new, who come along here, thank you. And I know we all do. I know everybody in here, including myself and Mayhem, look forward to getting to know you better. So, we did have a new cherub in the live chat in the premiere, and I'm trying to remember what her name was, and I'm drawing a blank. I should have wrote it down, but she was from Mississippi. I can tell you that. Rosemary was a new cherub, and I'm so glad that she came along. And we welcome all of you. And for you veteran cherubs, have a most fabulous rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you all on Saturday. For those of you who are in Creative Kingdom, we'll do our happy hour. If you're interested in that, it's a private Facebook group. The link is down below. Answer the 3 questions, get your keys, and you can come to happy hour with us. We'd love to have you. But at any rate, last thing I got to add, guys, you know what it is. Well, maybe you don't. First thing I want to say is, greetings to Rosemary. Thank you, Mary. I love y'all. That's the first thing. Second thing is, until next time, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful. Never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. I love y'all. Happy quilting. Whoop whoop. Happy Wednesday and happy hump day. I'll see y'all soon.